morning. Good morning to you. Wednesday, April 17th. We are certainly crazy. We're going to talk about more about the craziness in Chicago. Got Johnny and the Bee playing here for you guys. We're all crazy in Chicago, in case you didn't know. Let me bring the music down. Shout out to my buddy Michael at the Great Clips. I got my hair cut today just an hour ago. What do you think of that there? Beautiful haircut. Beautiful haircut at my favorite place, Great Clips in downtown. So there you go. Let's talk about Chicago sports and how the city of Chicago is crazy. It's a big sports town. It certainly is. I'll give it that. It's just that the city of Chicago's got some craziness going on when it comes to sports. If you're a MLB watcher, you know that our Chicago White Sox are now 2-14. They were supposed to turn that team around this year. I think they got a new manager. I don't follow them that much, but I know they were miserable and underperforming for several years, and then they threw out all the management. They've got new management there, and they're worse than ever. 2-14 right now. They canceled their game last night because of weather. Cubs are doing a little bit better. Usually the Cubs come out of training camp and tank. They just go, meow. Not this year. They're I think they're like 9-6 or something, 10-6 at this point. So that's somewhat respectable. I'll give them that. But let's talk about stadiums. If you're not from Chicago, you don't know the history of the Chicago Bears. Let's talk about the Bears. They're got the number one pick in the NFL this year during the draft, NFL draft that's coming up, and they're going to pick, I guess, Caleb Williams out of USC, another quarterback. Chicago Bears. If you Google that on the internet, there's a list of all the quarterbacks that the Bears have had. They have probably had a Bear every other year for the last 50 years. They're consistently changing their quarterback. For whatever reason, they can never find a good quarterback. Now you look at a team like Green Bay that's had like 5 quarterbacks in 50 years. I'm willing to bet you that the Bears have had at least 40 in 50 years. And they're going to continue going through it as they get a new rookie. They got rid of the Fields guy. I forget his first name, but he was a nice player out of Ohio State. Was it Dustin Fields or something? I don't know. But anyway, he's gone. They sent him to Pittsburgh, and they're going to be drafting another one, I guess. So, but that's not the point. The Bears have consistently had problems finding a stadium. About 2 years ago, they bought some land out in the suburbs in Arlington Heights, and they were going to build a entertainment district out there, and everything was going to be cool and copacetic, and we were going to have the Chicago Bears in the suburbs. Not happening. Now they're talking about finding a spot in downtown Chicago just south of the current stadium. Now let's talk about that current stadium, known as Soldiers Field. Been there forever, right? It's a historic landmark. The colonnades, built in remembrance of soldiers of various wars, I guess. They redid that like about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, at a cost of like $650 million. It's owned by the Chicago Park District. And that's part of the problem with the Chicago Bears is they don't have a stadium, and I'm not sure if they're proposing. I think they're proposing partial ownership going forward here in the city of Chicago. But so we paid the city of Chicago paid $650 million. I'm sure the state of Illinois is kind of in on this too. I think technically, but that was 20 years ago. The news came out about a year ago that they still owe $650 million. They haven't paid down any equity on those changes that they did 25 years ago because they've refinanced it several times, and I guess they just keep taking money out or they keep adding the fees onto it. So any equity that they had, they just lose it. Now the Bears are proposing a stadium where their parking garage is at, south of Soldier Field, north of McCormick Place there, and some parkland that's open. It used to be a parking lot many, many years ago. And actually tearing down the old one, except for the colonnades, I guess, is what their proposal was. So I think the Bears were going to chip in $2 billion. That's what it'd be. And I think it was going to be a domed stadium and partial ownership of the Bears. There's also the Chicago White Sox, which are playing out of Guaranteed Rate Field, which is owned by the taxpayers of Illinois Sports Authority. I don't know if we owe anything on that. I would be surprised if we don't. But they're looking for a better stadium, closer to downtown, closer to the action, and have their eyes on a 90-acre site along the Chicago River, I believe, the Chicago River, just probably in the West Loop area, Southwest Loop. But the city of Chicago sent the Bears and the White Sox off to figure out how to get revenue, I guess, to pay for some of this public infrastructure. And both of the teams came back with insufficient, according to the city of Chicago, means of raising money to pay for some of the expensive infrastructure that would be needed for both of these stadiums. I really think that they need to push these teams into combining their stadium. Wouldn't that be a common sense type of thing to do, right? Instead of building two different stadiums with two different sets of infrastructure that would have to be paid for by the taxpayer, why wouldn't you just build one nice one and save some money? Just saying. That would actually make sense. What the Chicago teams are proposing is crazy, right? As our song at the top of the show says, we are all crazy in Chicago and we like spending money. I mean, that's clearly evident. If you look at our friend Brandon Johnson, as he keeps spend when it comes to the migrants. Yesterday, I guess they approved another $70 million. And supposedly, we'll hold them to this fact, that's supposed to be all they'll need for the rest of the year. I really, really question if that's going to be truth or not. But anyway, we're really good at spending money in Chicago, especially money that we don't have. Yeah, it's a doozy of a bill when you just are spending money carte blanche. Like I said, if you look at Soldiers Field, we still owe the same amount after 20 to 25 years of the renovations of that place. We still owe the same amount. And they're talking about tearing it down. Doesn't make much sense to me. I understand that a nice dome stadium would have been real nice. I'm not sure why the Bears didn't do that 20 years ago, where, you know, they threatened, they bought options of land in the south suburbs and went through this whole fiasco with the Chicago Park District. I really thought that the Bears were going to move out of the city of Chicago then, and you know what? They just turned around and signed a nasty deal. They could have been an innovator. I mean, this is before most of the NFL teams got their own stadiums, but they could have been a leader of the pack back then and got their own stadium. But part of the problem with the Chicago Bears is they're owned by the Hallis family and the McCaskey family. And let's just say that they're cheapskates. They pinch, I don't have any pennies here. They pinch pennies. Have you ever heard of a penny pincher? They definitely pinch pennies, and they look at every dollar they have. Going back to my comments about their quarterbacks, as much as the Bears change their quarterbacks, they never really paid them very well, and if they did and they didn't like them or they were not performing, they'd keep them around because they had to pay them. The Bears would never get rid of somebody that they had a huge financial commitment with. That's a given. That's how cheap the McCaskies are. And I hear there's rumblings that in actuality the McCaskies and the Hallis may be looking to move the Bears once the matriarch, I forget her name, I think it's Virginia McCaskey, George Hallis's daughter. She's like 96, 97, and if she kicks the bucket, word is that the family would like to move the team and sell it. They've already sold some small portions of the team to the guy, Patrick, guy from Northwestern, the big spender up there in Northwestern and Evanston. He was owner of Aon Insurance Company, but anyway, he's a mover and shaker in Chicago. I believe he owns 10 to 15% share in the Chicago Bears, and would probably be more than happy to buy some more. So we'll see what happens, but this is the craziness in Chicago and the state of Illinois, folks, where money doesn't matter. They just spend it. I mean, they are not at all looking to save any money. It's all about spending it. Whether you're a union or teachers union, and we got the teachers union coming up for a contract renewal, and I'm hearing rumblings there that they just want more money, and it's all about the kids, though. If you talk to the teachers union, it's all about the kids, and the kids need the teachers to have more money. That's how it works in Chicago. So comment down below what you think of. Is your town that messed up? Is your town as screwed up as Chicago when it comes to this type of stuff? Yeah, and when you go to Sox Park or Soldiers Field, Wrigley Field, you're going to be paying $10.50 for a beer. I know they got like beer bats and stuff. You could probably spend $25-$30 on those. I think last year a beer bat refill was $15. If you go to a game and drink, you're gonna spend some bucks. And it's crazy. We're all crazy in Chicago, folks. I'm here to tell you that, and I just explained to you why, right? So right now, think the Bears contract is up in 2030. They say it takes 4 to 5 years to build a stadium. They've had people out looking at the SoFi Center out in Los Angeles, Anaheim. They would love to put in something like that. But it's yet to be seen, because I do think that the taxpayers have a bad taste in their mouth with the old Soldiers Field and the statements made, like, if you're in business to have a sports team, pay for it yourself. It's going to add value to your team that the citizens of the state get no value out of. Why should the citizens of the state and city pay for infrastructure and all these things that are needed for these stadiums, and in the end all we get is high prices when we go to a game, right? I think the people of Chicago have finally realized that financing these sports teams is a little bit outlandish and overblown and not needed. Now you look at the United Center, owned by the Wirtzes and Eddie Reinsdorf, who also owns the White Sox. That was done with private financing. I don't think there was any public financing done on that stadium. So why the White Sox and the Bears can't come up with a solution to their own problem is beyond me. So if you've got a solution, comment down below. I'm going to end it for there, because we're all crazy in Chicago, and it's all about money, folks. It's all about the money, so I hope you understand why Chicago is so messed up, and this is just another example. So we're over time today. It's 66 degrees. It's Wednesday. It is April 17th, and I am DJ Wonder Chrissy. This is Land Cruiser Midwest for Migrant Mayhem. Like, share, and subscribe, folks, and we'll catch you on the other side. See ya!